All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Staying Mission Driven October. Last time we came together was in August. I was gone during the September time frame for our daughter's wedding, which went really well. It was so fun for us. And I have to say, we ordered flowers, 240 stems of sunflowers to be delivered. And we got a note the day before the wedding, 2 days before the wedding, saying that they were not going to be delivered and they apologized and they would give us our money back. And I was like, now what are we going to do? And so I reached out to my counterpart at OSU. Her name is Amy Jo Detweiler. I don't know if you have met her or not. But she rallied the Master Gardener troops at OSU, and we had a backup plan. It was amazing. But we ended up getting the sunflowers delivered, and we didn't need the Master Gardener volunteers. But it's just so heartwarming to know that
to us about
there's a group of people that are willing to help out when needed. So kind of fun. Oh, Patty says we want a picture. I do too, Patty. The photographer said 8 weeks before we'd really see anything. We've seen a couple sneak peeks, but so once I have a good picture to share, I'll share it. All right. So today's agenda includes welcome and announcements. Tana and I will talk about the progress we've made over this last year and really, longer than that and our plans for looking forward. Ask for AEC update. What a great advanced education conference. And then if there's time, I want to give you an update from the Telling Compelling and Impactful Story team. Announcements. So Northwest Flower and Garden Festival is going to be here before we know it in February. And back in August, I think I sent recruitment letters to coordinators in your respective counties, asking them to help recruit top-notch volunteers to serve at the show. And the timing, we wanted to get an early start on it just because being able to put volunteers in shifts and be organized, and it was just going to work better for us to get an early start. And then we realized that the timing was a little bit strange. I see a note in the chat. Is there a problem with the volume or the audio? Are people having a hard time hearing me?
No, but every once in a while, there will be a background noise that comes in from somebody else, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple of squares that keep lighting up, and I mute them, and then they automatically unmute. So I'm not really sure.
Maybe we could ask everyone to mute while Jennifer's talking and only unmute if you have a question.
It's people that are normally on mute though and know that, and so I think there's something odd going on. Patty, I just made you a co-host. Would you mind helping with that while I'm chatting? I see your face in my screen, that's why. Does that work, Patty Ratzlaff? Thank you. Okay, so anyway, we ended up realizing that the timing was strange because foundations hadn't had their budget hearings yet, and coordinators and volunteers both were like, well, how do I know? And I don't know if I should step up, or I don't know because I don't know. And so I asked for the names by October 15, but given the timing issue with budget hearings, I heard from a couple of counties, not very many. And so now yesterday, I reminded coordinators during our coordinator call that we're still recruiting for volunteers to serve at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival, and to please send me the names of up to 6 volunteers by November 15th. I understand that maybe the budgets won't be approved by then. That's okay. What I've said to the coordinators is if it's in the foundation's budget, to go ahead and recruit, presuming that, that the budget will pass with the Flower and Garden Festival support provided. And we'll work out the details later. So if you're interested, please get in touch with your program coordinator so that we can start receiving names and putting them into shifts. The letter that I shared with your coordinators has position descriptions and the shifts, general shift times that we need filled. Questions? The Evergreen Thumb podcast has been a very successful endeavor sponsored by the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State. And so Tana put a note in the chat. Letters will go out today to foundation presidents asking them to indicate sponsorship. So thank you, Tana. So the Evergreen Thumb podcast, been a great success, a partnership with the state foundation. Its purpose is to share research-based horticulture and environmental stewardship wisdom, practical tips, and real-life experiences. I see I have a typo in there. Not real-like, but real-life experiences. And then we recently we are now featured on the Connors podcast page, and there's only 5 podcasts there, and we are one of 5 of them. So that's pretty cool. And we need you. And I'm going to turn it over to Erin. Erin, I assume you're on?
I'm here.
Great. Hi, Erin. I see you now. Erin.
So not only are we featured on Connor's page, but to my knowledge, we are actually the only extension affiliated Master Gardener podcast in the country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, because when I first started doing it, I was researching it and I found like one that went defunct after a year or something like that. So, but we have been live for a year. We have over 30 episodes. So, but like Jennifer said, we need you. We need guests, and I love to have Master Gardeners as guests on the podcast. So I thought I'd kind of go through the interview process to kind of reduce the apprehension about being a guest on the podcast. It's really pretty simple. It's not a whole lot different than Zoom. Once we agree on a topic, you can book online. I've got a calendar, and it's you get a link to it, and you pick your date and time that works for you to be interviewed. And then about a week before the interview, I send you a list of potential questions and a link to the platform that I do the interviews in. Like I said, it's a lot like Zoom. We can see each other, and it's really just a conversation. I'm not pumping you with questions and trying to trick you or stump you or anything like that. That's why I send you the questions ahead of time. So if there's something that you're not quite sure of, you can do a little research, or or when we get live, you say, I'm not comfortable with this question or whatever. And then after the interview, I edit it. So I clean it up. I reduce the time if I have to. I rarely have to do that though. So that the finished episode is about 20 to 30 minutes long. And then, let's see, I think that's kind of it. The biggest thing is that it's really relaxed. It's really conversational. But I'm actually looking for some speakers on particular topics right now. I would like to do episodes on vermicomposting, plant diagnostics, growing specific plants like roses or dahlias, or some plants that kind of need more specialized care, or whatever gardening topic excites you. If it's something that you're passionate about, it's easy. It's really easy to have a 30-minute conversation about that. While we're doing this. So Jennifer's got I don't know, is it a survey or a poll?
It's a poll. Yeah.
A poll. Okay, so we can get a little more information about, your
Yeah,
your
so we,
interest or willingness to be a guest, or if you
okay.
have other suggestions.
So Erin, I've done this before with Erin, and she makes it really easy. It's really comfortable. We laugh and have a great time, and you're really just talking about the things that mean something, the gardening topics that mean a lot to you. And Erin would love to feature you as a WSU Extension Master Gardener volunteer on the podcast. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, Erin, you want to put a link in the chat on where they can find it and then go out and listen to it. But I'm going to launch a poll, and hopefully you will be willing to be a guest on the show. We'd love to have you. And if you're willing, go ahead and answer the podcast. You should be able to see it now. We're going to get an idea whether you've listened in the past or if you're interested or would be willing to be a guest. Can you all see the poll? Okay, thank you.
Oh, and to add to, this is a great way to get hours, volunteer hours from home, especially for, working master gardeners. Because any research you do on the topic counts for hours as well. So, as well as the interview time itself.
I don't get out much. What is the Connors list of the 5, or what is Connors? What does that mean? Sorry.
Connors is the WSU College of Agricultural, Human, and Natural Resource Sciences. So it's the college that our Master Gardener program is in.
Oh, so they have 5 different podcasts and now you're part of it.
One's on food safety. One's it's called Art of the Range.
Art of the Range?
Yeah, that's by Tip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rangeland management. The Forest Overstory.
Oh yeah, Forest Overstory, yeah.
Which Kevin Zobrist, who hosts that, was a recent guest on the podcast. I'm trying to think what the wheat.
Yeah. Yep, and the wheat one. All right. Looks like people are still answering the poll. I'll leave it open, but I'll go ahead and move forward. Hopefully, Erin will get some people who are interested in being guests. It looks like maybe we might be getting a few of those. I'll send you the poll results, Erin. All right, and then I want to offer this as continuing education to all volunteers. This is a extension, the EMGNC, which is Extension Master Gardener National Committee, and they do professional development webinars for program coordinators, and often I share these out with our coordinators, but sometimes I share them out with volunteers too. And this particular one I thought was fantastic. It was done by North Dakota State University, and it's all about generational volunteering. It opened my eyes to things that I hadn't learned before, hadn't thought of before, and I thought it was just really well done and down to earth, practical. And I thought you might like to watch it. So if you do watch it, please go ahead and log 1 hour of continuing education. It was linked directly in the agenda that I sent to you, but I will also share it when I share the recording of this through GivePulse. I'll also put the link in there too. All right. So progress and planning. The state program and the state foundation work together to plan our work for the year. And at WSU, it's called it's called a plan of work, and we submit our plans of work. And with input from coordinators and volunteers, I set my plan of work for the year based on the 5 working teams that were established in 2018 and 2019. And given the fact that it's been, you know, a good 5 years, it's now time to review that overall plan that we started back in 2018, 2019 to ensure that the working teams, to ensure that the working teams that, you know, we create our annual action plans out of are still taking us down the path that we should be on. So essentially, I'm trying to figure out now, is the work of those 5 teams still relevant and needed? Does it need to be adjusted? Do we need a different team? Is a team no longer relevant? You know, so I'm going to share quickly the high level goals and objectives of each team and some of our successes that we've had over the last couple of years. And then the program intends to spend some time over the winter reviewing that work, and we'll seek input from faculty, coordinators, volunteers, and the foundation on our direction. And then I'll hand it over to Tana, and she'll do a similar share. So ultimately, the State Foundation and the program want to ensure that the work we do supports each other, supports the needs of the volunteers, and serves the people of Washington State. So the first team that has probably seen the bulk of the work is the Telling Our Story team. And some successes here. You'll see the goal, and I'm just going to focus on the successes, but we have a clearly defined mission and vision that guides our daily work. The program priorities came from the work of this team, as did the toolkit and the program priorities library. We now have statewide evaluation measures for many of our program priorities. We have a variety of branded marketing tools and resources, and the annual report. And soon that 2023 report will be out. Another team is our quality resources team, and you'll see the goal there. But big success is HortSense has been fully updated and is being continually reviewed, and now has a way for volunteers and others to look at the needs. Excuse me. Look at the needs. If there's a missing fact sheet, you now have a way to submit an idea for a fact sheet. One of the other things was currently it's the climate action team and the process to get what we're calling badged or the EMG approved. So this is the review process that we're still working on. But we're streamlining it, and it's hopefully going to become easier, and we'll be able to broaden it to the other program priorities as well, so we can begin to develop badged or EMG approved PowerPoint presentations. And then we hired Noel and then Bryce to update the manual and the Master Gardener training, and that's all under work. The DEI team, we have regular trainings now to improve the readiness of our program to accept the DEI initiatives. 44% of our counties offer DEI training for volunteers. And at the state level, we do trainings for our program coordinators. We are working on state level DEI trainings for volunteers. This year, we launched a new easily accessible intern application that was meant to reduce barriers to participation. And we have DEI teams in many counties. The infrastructure team, the website was a big one, getting our statewide website updated. And then now we're working on the county websites, and we have those county templates. Give Pulse was one of our infrastructure team successes, if you want to call it a success. We wanted a volunteer management software system, and we were doing our research, and then Give Pulse ended up being what we were told we were going to use. So we're making the best of Give Pulse. The MS365 SharePoint project, that's another piece of the infrastructure team. And then engagement with Connors IT and to support the technical needs of the Master Gardener program. And then professional development team, we have new coordinator onboarding document. We have a training on empowering volunteer leaders, support coordinators through advisory group development, and we've been offering conflict management trainings on occasion. And then program foundation relations, really thrilled to be able to say that the state program and state foundation really do have a mutually beneficial partnership, and that's evidenced through the Evergreen Thumb podcast, the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival, AEC, the Unifying Foundation website project, and the MS365 project as well. And then we have regular communication and support each other to serve the needs of our communities. So we have made, I think, really great strides in serving our mission and working to achieve our vision over the last 5 years through these 5 working teams. And I want to thank you for your time and talents, the things that you've done that supports our successes, right? The program evaluation work, the DEI trainings that you're all holding in counties, adopting the branded materials, being, I guess, cognizant of the importance of making these changes to serve our mission and achieve our vision, and being willing to make those changes. It's not easy to do that. We have we're almost 4,000 volunteers strong. It's a big boat. It's a big ship to turn. And, this ship has been entrenched for 50 years on a journey. And, but I think really thanks to you, coordinators, and volunteers, we're making good, swift progress toward, achieving our vision to be highly recognized, diverse, and fully supported. So again, being on these calls with you and you being willing to take time to hear the messages from the state program and the state foundation and working toward our vision, it takes all of us. So over the next few months, we'll be reviewing and updating our plans, and we'll be seeking input from faculty, staff, coordinators, the foundation board, and volunteer leaders. If you have something specific you'd like to share about the direction of the program or things that you think the state program needs to consider, please email me directly and I'd be delighted to visit with you. So I'll turn it over to Tana, and then maybe we can take questions together after Tana's finished. Sound good?
That sounds great. Thank you, Jen. So just as the program has been working on both their goals and strategies in an annual report, the foundation is doing the same work. I wanted to give you this morning just a brief history so you'll understand how we've arrived at our current place. The Master Gardener Foundation, when it began, Dawn Instruments often shared with me, was kind of looking for a purpose. And initially, we came into being to help local programs be able to more effectively purchase small items than having to go through the WSU system, but also to be able to assume responsibility for the Advanced Education Conference. So coming into the planning process for us, we knew that we had an established organization and one that was stable. And I really want to thank those 4 persons of our organization for all the work they did to get us to this place. So a little over 2 years ago, our executive board proposed a set of strategic directions. We took those to the board. They helped refine them, and we adopted 5 directions, and it is totally accidental that we have 5 directions and the program has 5 directions. And in many ways, they're quite similar. We then moved on to take action steps. And I will admit, the first round through our planning, we largely looked at qualitative indicators. Can we say yes or no to the stories from master gardeners and local foundations tell us whether we've made progress or not? So we are in the process now of reviewing our progress and refining our planning methods and strategies. We want to rely on the strategic planning more consistently, and we also want to ensure that our measures are both qualitative and quantitative based on actual numbers as we move forward. Okay, Jen, I'm having.
You want the next slide?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's important for everyone to realize who our audiences are, because the annual report that we produce, the report of progress, is used for a variety of purposes. First of all, it informs the university more broadly about what the foundation has accomplished, and also makes them aware of both our purpose and the direction that we're seeking. A good example is we're working with development at this time on our campaign, our Endowed Chair campaign, and we are finding with a new development director, he is indicating how informed he feels about the foundation's work as a result of looking at our indicators. We also have a responsibility to our Master Gardener community, to all of you, to demonstrate that we make a difference not only at the state program level, but also at the local level by providing a unified voice for foundation operations. And of course, the report also informs our board and helps keep both the board and the executive committee on track. And then an annual report is an important tool to use with donors and the public to generate additional support and to build knowledge. Okay. So what's next for us? Well, we have a draft of the annual report. Our executive committee will finalize that draft the very first part of November. Then we will take that draft to the board. Board members should receive a copy that first week, and at the 3rd week in November, they're going to be looking at the report and providing feedback. At which point, a couple of days later, after a bit of refining, we'll be sending it out more broadly to our audiences. And in January, we'll be using that report as a way for us to establish new strategies and directions, to look at the context within which we operate, and to make sure that we've got that good supportive alignment with the Master Gardener program. So we'll be hosting a retreat in January with the board, and you'll be able to see new strategies and directions, as well as a refinement of our current strategies in place following that retreat. So how can you help? Well, first of all, there will be opportunities for you to provide input to the new directions. We also are going to encourage people to review and use the annual report, use its contents, be aware of its knowledge base, and be able to present the foundation's work to the public and to those supporters that we want to use to generate additional both resources and financial support. And then help us improve our planning process. We are, as an organization, have engaged in strategic planning only for the last couple of years. Prior to that, there certainly was planning that went on, but not in quite the concrete method that we're using now. And so help us improve the process, because you, as an important audience, are integral to us being able to lend the kind of support that we envision. So, Jen, we can open up for questions.
Great. I'm going to stop sharing just for a little bit so that we can take any questions and without having the screen in our way. Go ahead and unmute or raise your hand, put something in the chat. Okay, well, Tana, we did a great job.
I want to echo one more time to, none of the work that the program or the foundation has accomplished would have been done without strong support from so many of you. And it's a humbling experience for us to be able to reflect back and realize what good work has been done. So please accept my heartfelt gratitude. It makes such a difference.
All right. Thank you all, and we look forward to receiving input as we move forward with our plans. Next up, Debbie, do you want to give a success story update?
Sure. Yeah, the conference was a huge success. We had, between the recordings that were still selling and the tickets that sold for the actual conference, we have sold 650 tickets. So we're pretty excited about that. Just a reminder to everybody to be sure to take the surveys. They are available on the recordings page. You'll see that it's pretty front and center. But please take the surveys. That's information that we'll be able to use next year in our annual report of knowledge learned. So let's see, the recordings that you have access until December 1st. So you can potentially earn over, what, about 40 CUs, or continuing education credits. So take advantage of that. If you did not buy tickets for the conference, the recordings are still available. If you go to the Advanced Education Conference website, you can purchase those tickets to access the recordings. It was exciting that we had so many people from Washington State, but we also brought in attendees from across the US. So that was pretty exciting. We had, just some fantastic speakers, a good variety of subjects, and we're excited about 2025. And Kathy Lamoureux is going to be the director for the 2025 conference. I don't think she's on here today to give her report, but anyway, does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Debbie.
Hey,
Thank you for organizing such a great conference. I'm sorry that I missed it. All right. So the updates from the Telling Our Story team. The 2023 annual report will be ready soon. This is kind of a sneak peek of the front of it, and it really does a great job of highlighting the 50th anniversary. Inside you'll be able to read about, by the numbers, stories, both qualitative and quantitative. There's some impact, but mostly outcomes. There's also a piece new this year that kind of shows the financial support that comes from Washington State University for salaries. It does not include the ancillary support, and when you read in the annual report, it will tell you what it includes and what it doesn't include, but it does include salaries and also the support provided in aggregate from all of the foundations across the state. So you'll be able to see that in the report as well. So for 2024, we launched our evaluation process where we asked counties to evaluate at least one local food and then choose from one of the others. These are the short-term local food evaluation results, and you'll see increase in knowledge on these points. We recently sent follow-up surveys to learn about the midterm results. So what did people do because of what they learned? Did they actually give food? Did they have so much food that they grew because of the things that they learned in Master Gardener courses, Master Gardener seminars, workshops? They have so much food that they ended up giving it to the community because they understood that we all have a role to play in providing a secure and safe food system. So we're going to use data like this and, similar data from the surveys distributed from our other priorities to help us tell that compelling and impactful story, about the tangible differences that Extension Master Gardeners make in the communities that we serve. So be on the lookout for the annual report. It'll come out soon. Keep your eye on our priorities page on our state website. That will be updated too with the 2023 and 2024 information. And, read about the differences we make and be sure to tell your friends and neighbors about the differences that we make as well. Don't be shy about it. And then in 2025, I know we're barely putting our 2024 gardens to bed, but I'm not going to talk to you again until January. So this is my opportunity. We launched this evaluation plan in 2024, and about this year, about 5 counties participated. We received in total about 200 responses across 3 different program priorities. In 2025, I'm hoping we can have 10 counties participate. Let's double the number. Let's get 10 counties to participate and receive 1,000 responses. Wouldn't that be great? But we need you and your Master Gardener coordinators to help us reach this goal. So each priority has a templated slide deck, and you can find them in the program priorities library. Debbie posted the library link in the chat already. But you can find the templated slide decks for each of the program priorities in our library. Those slide decks include the learning objectives. And if we have already completed the evaluation measures, the slide deck also includes a QR code and a bit.ly link to the survey that we would like people to complete. Use the toolkit, use the program priority library, and plan and teach to the learning objectives. When you're doing your 2025 planning, and I know my garden has not even been pulled out yet. I'm doing that this weekend. So I know we're not even done with 2024 yet. But I'm asking you now, when you're doing your planning for 2025 workshops and seminars, please remember to use the program priority toolkit and the library and teach to the learning objectives. Looking at the chat. So Debbie, thank you. All right. So what you see on your screen, the water conservation, that's one of the, it's a screenshot of one of the slide decks, one of the slides in the slide deck that show those learning objectives. And our next meeting is January 23rd. Any good of the group?
I have something, Jennifer.
Sure.
I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but in addition to looking for guests for the podcast, I'm also looking for a marketing coordinator. This person would manage the social media for the podcast, which currently is Facebook and Instagram, manage our email list and sending out routine emails to that, and then also sending out the social media packet to guests and to the social media coordinators for each county program. And it's all online. It's a great job to be able to do from home, to earn volunteer hours, and hopefully we can work toward having an actual marketing plan and have a better reach and increase the visibility of the podcast. So if anybody's interested, you can email me. I'll put my email in the chat.
Thanks, Erin.
Jennifer? Yeah, do we have any updates on how we're coming along with the endowment campaign?
Yeah, a little bit. So Connor's Development has new staff. We have a new director and a new senior director and new directors, and they are focused on helping us retool. The state foundation has been very supportive. There's actually some momentum right now on building our stewardship base among volunteers and other community members. And our development directors are later, and along with Dean Wendy Powers and Associate Dean Vicki McCracken and Tana Hessert are meeting with a couple of people this evening regarding the Endowed Chair campaign. So we're retooling and revamping, and with a plan to be ready to roll at the beginning of the year.
Thank you.
Tana, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I would add that we're entering into a stage of being able to work with larger scale external donors. You know, there's a flow to any campaign, and you always start internally with your constituents and then build out. So we're in the process of developing a list of those potential larger scale donors. And as part of the focus of our meeting tonight is to talk through some of that. I deeply appreciate the support and attention that the new development director is paying to the campaign. His name is James Smith, and he's talented and excited about us and is bringing great ideas to the table. So I'm very optimistic.
Great. Looking forward to hearing more.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hi,
This is Jason. Hey, I was just wondering if there's any way, I had a volunteer say that she'd love to go to these same mission-driven meetings, but needs more notice. And I know that this is sent out. I don't remember getting this on. I just got the email. I didn't get it on GivePulse, but it looks like everybody's getting it on GivePulse. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it should have, I mean, at the beginning of each year, we set the dates, and then I ask you as coordinators to, because the way Give Pulse works, it has to go through the county coordinators so that
Mhm.
volunteers register for the event in their specific county, and then I only communicate with those who are registered. I don't send Staying Mission Driven to the whole group of volunteers through Give Pulse, only to
Okay.
those who are registered. So that's probably why she probably didn't register. So that's probably why she didn't receive and I usually
Yeah.
put out the agenda a week ahead, but this week that did not happen.
Kind of a crazy week. Yeah, I get that. I'm wondering if there's a easier way that we as coordinators can I mean, besides pay everybody register, you know, if there was another like a registration link that we can say, okay, go to this link and register for all these. That way you get the reminders. Is that
Yeah,
something?
it's a link. It's a link that they can click on. Yep.
Is okay, so there was an original link then, because I don't remember seeing that. I'll go back through there.
Well, it's
Would
too
it
late
also
for this
be on
year.
GitPulse?
So
I'm sorry, what?
it's too late for this year. So
Yeah.
that'll be something that we work through at the next coordinator meeting, so
Mhm.
that link gets shared with all coordinators so that you can make sure volunteers in your county have the opportunity to register.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I forward stuff, but I bet we'd have way more people at these meetings because I'm sure I'm not the only coordinator who's trying to get his volunteers still
Right.
to come.
Right.
So, all right.
No worries.
Well, thanks for doing these.
Yep. Anything else? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your holidays.
Thank you, Jennifer and Tana. Great meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
See you
you.
5. Be full.